Blizzard have decided to roll back some of the crowd control changes. Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. Okay, in this video we're going to discuss the Cassidy Magnetic Grenade nerf, although I still don't understand this ability. We've also got a Lifeweaver buff and a nerf to Mei, so this is going to be quite interesting. So as we know, Blizzard decided to reintroduce a bunch of crowd control back into the game because they think crowd control has a place in Overwatch, which is an interesting line of thought, but there you go. Anyway, Cassidy, these are the changes. Basically what they're doing is the seeking radius is now lowered from 1.5 to 1.3 meters, and the homing duration has been lowered from 1 to 0.75 seconds. And the dev comments are essentially, you know what, we want you to actually aim this, not just yeet it at the enemy team and hope it connects to somebody and blows them up. Or guess what, you've just thrown a grenade and it's killed someone and you're just sitting there laughing because it's the most ridiculous thing ever. Like, you see that grenade I threw there at the torb? I think the old grenade would have attached to that torb and probably got me a kill. So this is kind of decent, right? It's an okay nerf to the ability, but the thing is, it's still a really boring ability to use. Now, this is what they did to it before this balance change. So this is the Magnetic Grenade rework. So no longer has a maximum projectile travel range of 10 meters, and the projectile now magnetizes towards an enemy target 1.5 meters away. Of course, that's now changed to 1.3 and chases them for up to 1 second. That is now 0.75 seconds. But the rest of this still stands. So impact damage is increased from 0 to 10. Explosion damage has been reduced from 120 to 70. Stuck targets now have their movement slowed by 30%. And stuck targets are affected by hindered, a status effect, interrupting and preventing movement abilities from being activated. So we're in this world where Blizzard have sort of repackaged crowd control as a new effect called hindered, although hindered basically just stops you using movement abilities. The grenade itself does apply a 30% slow as well. Hindered isn't doing that. Hindered is just stopping you using a movement ability. If you're a hero, that depends on movement abilities. I mean, it's bad. If it hits you, you can't go anywhere. It's like you get the double whammy of you get stunned and then you take damage. Whereas Flashbang of old, you just got flashbanged and then you couldn't move and it was up to the Cassidy to kill you. Or the Magnetic Grenade was just, yes, he throws it, it attaches to you and blows you up at close range. It's like they've gone from extreme to extreme, and now they're in this place where they don't really know what to do with this ability. Because, again, like I said, if we look at the old Flashbang, it was a close range stun and that was it. Then it became close range damage with a Magnetic Grenade, and now it is this sort of medium range thing which slows you down by 30%, stops you using movement abilities, does damage to you, and allows for Cassidy to get the cleanup damage on you, if you will, because you still have to shoot them with Cassidy if it's a 1v1 situation. You're not going to kill them with a grenade. But I guess that's the issue with this, right? Overwatch is a bit of a messy game. There's damage coming in from all over the place. So the grenade is still going to be frustrating. It is still an annoying ability to play against. And it's very much like Hanzo's logs, which I'm about to die to, I'm afraid, because I stupidly peaked when he had Sonic Arrow. But yeah, they're trying to reduce these things with recent buffs, recent nerfs, I should say, to Widowmaker and Hanzo. And yet they're okay with Cassidy randomly killing people. It's so weird. This ability needs a complete rework, Blizzard. I don't think it's working, and it's not selling the fantasy of the hero. Okay, let's move on to Mei. Now, Mei is a funky one. So, Mei's endothermic blaster. So this is her weapon, obviously. The primary fire component of this has had the slow reduced from 50 to 40%. So there's a 10% reduction there. However, primary fire damage has been increased from 55 to 70. Now, it must be noted that before Season 5, her primary fire damage was 100. It was not 70. So that is still basically nerfed from her previous statistics before Season 5. Now, Deep Chill, this is the new passive she's got. The maximum slow applied when this effect activates has been reduced from 75% to 65%. So what I find interesting here is they're giving you a bit more damage on primary fire, and they're slightly reducing your slow. Now, again, this is such a weird change. Now, I know what they were trying to do. I know they were trying to add a bit of complexity to Mei as a hero, because if we look at the changes from the start of Season 5, well, we'll see this sort of mini Mei Primary Fire rework, if you will, where her damage per second had been reduced from 100 to 55. Of course, that's now gone up to 70. Primary Fire slow is no longer always 40% and now scales from 30 to 50. Again, this has been changed. Primary Fire impacts now build up a slowing effect that sticks to the enemy for 1.5 seconds and slows them for 75%. Again, that's been changed. However, this is what they were going for. The secondary fire now actually does more damage and detonates if the target is already slowed with primary fire. So I think what they were trying to do is go from less of like spamming primary fire to actually, you know what, bit of primary fire, then go for the added damage with the alternate fire. The problem is, I don't know whether it's even worth doing that. Like, I think Mei was in an okay position as she was. You could argue that the skill component of Mei was her alternate fire anyway, at long range, trying to land those kills. So why Blizzard changed it, I don't know. It just feels like a change for the sake of it, and it's quite confusing why they even wasted time doing this to Mei. Like, again, the only thing I can think of is maybe they were just going through the heroes and they thought, you know what, we want to add a bit more complexity to Mei, so we're going to do this. But I'm not really sure she needed that. And maybe that time could have been spent on something else. Because you have to remember, at the end of the day, game development is all about resource allocation of the team. And if they're wasting time on these arguably pointless changes, they could maybe have been spending time doing something to Cassidy's grenade. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Lifeweaver, because this is really interesting now with Lifeweaver. So what they've done is, and now you know what I'm like with spread. If you watched my Season 5 patch notes video where I basically said Tracer, well, I didn't basically, I straight up said Tracer has been buffed when she'd clearly been nerfed. Now, in my defense, I'll say that I was, I don't know what, I have no defense, basically. So anyway, we're going to talk about spread again, but I'm going to get it right this time. So they've increased the number of projectiles to reach maximum spread from 0 to 20 with Lifeweaver's damage. Now, this means with Thorn Volley, it is pinpoint accurate for the first 20 shots, and then it goes into the full spread. So if you've got accuracy, you'll do more damage, right? If you're aiming in the right place, you will do more damage with this ability. So gives Lifeweaver a little bit of a little bit of punch, doesn't it? A little bit of a sting in the tail, because his problem is he gets absolutely farmed by any DPS, especially flankers, because his hitbox is massive. And remember, his hitbox has actually been reduced for Season 5. Now, they've also increased the maximum ammo from 70 to 80, so you do more damage. Now, you've got to remember here, guys, Lifeweaver received substantial changes. I'm going to throw them up on the screen here. I'm not going to go through them, but they are substantial, right? They've basically buffed every aspect of the hero. So what we've got with Lifeweaver is a very vertically mobile hero with the ability to essentially make tanks peel for him, because you can pull tanks back to you whenever you like. Obviously, you can save people. Remember, this heals as well now, which I was a bit like, well, it's a bit confusing. Is this a heal or is it something to pull people out of place? But whatever. Let's just take it, man. It's a buff. So you're doing a 50 heal when you grab someone. You can now do 75 from your fully charged primary heal. You've got amazing vertical mobility off your petal platform. Your ultimate is still, I mean, it's effective, but it's really boring to use, to be honest. And I wish it wasn't just a big tree. And obviously they did that because he's Lifeweaver. And yeah, it's a hard light tree. Great. But yeah, I just think that this, again, is another buff to the hero. And we might be in a situation here where Lifeweaver is a bit of a sleeper, because unless you're getting really pressured by enemy flankers, you can pump out massive healing with this hero. You can save people in bad positions, and your ultimate, as janky as it is, still is really effective in team fights. So, you know, this again, it's a really strong buff to the hero. They've basically said, look, you can do more damage. Now, there is an issue here where we might be going down the path again of supports almost being able to do everything. So he's got good damage, he's got good survivability, he's got good healing, he's got this and that. I don't know. But I wouldn't sleep on Lifeweaver at the moment. I'd definitely give him a go. I've enjoyed playing him. Like, it feels like the added damage from the spread only coming in after 20 shots makes a big difference. Anyway, thank you for listening and watching the video, guys. I've been Stylosa. Remember, you can follow me on everything, which is @Stylosa, and I'll catch you lovely lot on the next one. See you soon.